Rosemary, Doyle, and Northwood School demonstrate best practice in terms of supporting students who need support and creating a climate where anti-gay bullying is no longer acceptable. When she realized students needed help, she got help. Instead of waiting for it to get better, she made it better. In the unmost likely of places, Rosemary and her students Eli, Gage, Chelsea, Bailey Lee, Brooke, Cheyenne, Brody, Jordan, and Alyssa found the courage to believe in themselves. It's a model that all schools should follow. Rosemary and her students have been and continue to be a personal inspiration to me, and I'm so pleased to present this special recognition of best practice to them.
I am not exaggerating when I say the town that I came from this morning is smaller than all of you people. I'm not kidding. Wow. So to be on the same, be at the same podium that Tammy Baldwin was, I mean, I'm just like overwhelmed. So I can't believe it. Wow. So thank you, Brian. I'm sorry the kids couldn't be here. And one of the reasons they can't be here is that sometimes administrators who don't live near Madison, way up in the Great North Woods, don't think it's a good idea to bring kids to a GSAFE conference. So that battle, unfortunately, I lost, but the war still goes on. So I know everybody knows Brian J, and if they don't, they need to. So the kids, when the first time Brian called me after they'd gone to the training, and these are, you know, those are the kids, they came in my office, and I have a pretty small office, so it was pretty crowded, and I said, hey, you guys, I got a call today, and it was from Brian J, and they literally started screeching and yelling and freaking out and like, oh my God, Mama J, Mama J. So I said, wow, you know, and I live up in the ceded area, and I was glad to hear a shout out before for the Native American people who haven't been treated very well. And one of my Indian friends, Native American friends, I said, you know, I've always wanted an Indian name. You know, it'd be cool, and I live up there, so it'd be neat to have a name. And I was telling her about their reaction to Brian, and she says, I've got it for you. You could have like a rainbow tattoo, because she's got this cool bear thing, because she's in the bear clan of the Bad River Ojibwe Nation. And she said, you could name yourself She Who Brings Mama J. And that's... So from now on, that's who I'm going to be. And I you know, I'm up here, and it's great to be in Madison, and we didn't get a chance, because we got lost and stuff, but we didn't get a chance to demonstrate. But we have been down here doing that before. Our efforts this year have built on efforts for, I've been a counselor there for 24 years, and our efforts have built on, in the early 90s, we had a school secretary who took the bus with the quilt project to Washington, D.C., and that little grandma came back and insisted, I don't know how she got away with it, but she lived there a really long time, insisted that we have a speaker, HIV positive man, who literally, one of our teachers wouldn't even shake his hand because he thought you could get AIDS that way. So we have come from that point in our history in that little town in the North Woods to this year having our kids down at a conference with the DPI, and by the way, they make my life wonderful. If anybody's here from the Department of Public Instruction, I blame them for everything. Everything I want to do, I say, it's in the grant. I don't have a choice. It's in the grant. We'll have to give the money back. So, just a thought. So they're great, and I love them, and I just hope Representative Baldwin can keep the money coming for anti-bullying efforts. I just want to tell a quick story, and I know there's a time frame, but I really want you to hear this. One of the boys in the video, we have student support groups. I'm a counselor, that's what we do. And he was in the group, and I know he'd been getting teased, and middle school happens to be the time where a lot of you probably realize this, where the teasing starts to take on another edge, and it relates to gay bashing, homophobic comments, all that kind of stuff. So his mom had called me one night, and I was unaware he was feeling like this, and she said, Rosemary, let's call him Bill, my husband's name, Bill won't come to school anymore. And I said, well, you know, let me talk to him so maybe I can get him to come to my office. So he came in the next morning, and he said to me, and he has special education needs, and he's got some issues, and he said, I can't do this for 6 more years, and that's when he would graduate. I want to die. This is just last year. And so then, within the week, another mom called, and her son was being just viciously bullied. And it was the same sort of thing, only it was really graphic sexual comments, and the kid would do it. The 3 boys that were doing it to him were doing it under their breath. Teachers couldn't hear, and some people wouldn't even believe it. So, you know, I have a doctorate in psychology. I teach graduate students. I've got a card in my wallet about what to do about suicide. I can do it. But when you look in the eyes of somebody who's being called fag, retard, gay, it just breaks your heart. And I'm originally from the south side of Chicago. And yeah, thank you. And me and Michelle Obama. And so my first instinct was to do something not peaceful to those kids. And all I have to say is that it's good that I have been at a Brian J. training, because I put the duct tape away and I went on to start to do exactly what Brian has taught us to do. Anyway, so we get to kids with those, you know, and I don't want to make anybody upset about that really great thing where they do, it'll get better, you know, but for kids who are sitting in your room and they're looking you in the eye and they're saying, I want to die, you cannot say it will get better. You have to do something. So I'd like to end with a really heartfelt thank you to you. If our kids could see this whole room of people who are not just saying it will get better, because what kids are hearing is, don't worry, it'll get better, but for right now it's going to be terrible. And it might last 6 years. And so to look out at you and to bring this message back to the kids at my school and the counselors that I train at UWS, I will be able to say there are rooms full of people who are going to make it not be terrible. And every dime you give this agency, who brought it for free up to the home of Jamie Nabosny, who I'm glad to say our kids got to hear this year too, Brian brought it up there, it's there to stay, and I just cannot thank all of you enough for what you do to help the kids all over Wisconsin. So thank you very much.
Thank you.